Well, folks, no introduction for this video. I just wanted to give you a quick update. And as you could tell by the caption on this particular video, by the title, that my pickup has been stolen. And if you're tired of me doing videos on why I can't do videos, believe me, I am too. But this one's a doozy, and I just wanted to share it with you because I would guess that most folks who are firearms enthusiasts, people that spend time at the range, outdoorsmen, like to hunt and just spend time outdoors, are going to drive a pickup. And just wanted to tell you just a little bit about the situation that happened to me, because it can happen to anybody, anywhere, and it might be something that could happen to you as well. And even if you don't drive a pickup, the same principle applies regardless of the vehicle that you drive. But I had been out of town for a couple of days on work business, and I was driving the work pickup, and I left my private vehicle parked on the second floor parking garage at work. And I was out of town for a couple of days, came back to Tucson, parked the work truck where work truck goes, and then went into work. And then when I left work, I was going to drive my own truck home. But when I got to the second floor of the parking garage, my truck wasn't there. And I looked around, and you run through your head, did I park somewhere else and I don't remember? What could happen? What could have happened? Did I get towed? I mean, why would I be towed when I've got a permit to be in this garage? And all that runs through your head, and you're thinking, "Gal, this can't be just gone. I must have parked somewhere else. I don't remember." I went around the parking garage looking, pushing the button, trying to make the horn go off. Couldn't find it. Called the company that has the satellite system for your vehicle, and they kept telling me I needed to just track my truck in the app. And I was having trouble with the app. I was having trouble with reception. They just kept telling me, "Well, you can track your vehicle in the app." Well, I'm saying, my vehicle's been stolen. Can you just tell me where it is? Well, we can't tell you where it is. You're going to have to track it in the app, which I got very frustrated. Finally, long story, but finally got a hold of the police, and the police arrived at the parking garage, and there was no glass, there was nothing broken. It didn't appear that anybody had broken into the pickup, because I knew right where my parking spot was, and there was nothing there. But they called in the plates, and they said, "Yeah, we did get a picture of her. It was going down this road across this intersection at 3 a.m. and so it's definitely been stolen, and that's the last place that we got any kind of a highway photograph of it." So they got on the phone with the satellite system that's in your vehicle, and they said, to the police, and they said, "Oh, we don't track the customers everywhere they go," which I thought was just a downright lie, because you can set up your teenage tracker system in your vehicle so you know where your kid is all the time. But apparently the company says they don't do that. Continuing to work with that company, they called me the next day, and they said, "We're not getting any kind of a signal, so we're not going to try anymore." So obviously there's an error in the signal. They've done something. We're just not going to try anymore. So I thought, well, why have I been paying for this service for so many years, where they advertise that they can locate your vehicle, they can talk to the occupants, they can slow it down, they can do all this stuff? Apparently the sophisticated thieves can get past all that, and that's what the police told me as well. They said, these guys are not going to smash in your window and drive your truck off while the horn's going. They said they'll figure out how to get past your electric door locks. They plug a computer port into the computer port that's under your dashboard, above your left foot under the dashboard on the driver's side. And when they plug into that port with whatever machine they have, I don't know, they will disable the ability for the lock on your steering wheel. They electronically allow them to push the button without the key and start the vehicle. They can disable your surveillance system, your satellite system to your vehicle, and they've got the thing just like they can drive it off as if they have the key. And unfortunately, in a parking garage where the gate reads your license plate, all they have to do is pull up to the gate reads the license plate. They didn't know the machine doesn't know who's driving the vehicle, and away it goes. Unfortunately, the parking garage had no surveillance whatsoever, which I thought was surprising. No help at all there. I mean, there's more surveillance at a Walmart parking lot than in this parking garage, and that bothered me because I lost a truck. I lost a 2021 GMC Sierra 4-door SLT, beautiful truck, paid off. With no payments. It really felt good to be past payments and have that truck paid off, and then it was just gone. But I can replace a truck. But I was, if a young lady is there, oh God, I can't even imagine what could happen without and have no surveillance whatsoever in that garage, except for where it takes a picture of your license plate and it doesn't get a good picture of the driver, so you don't know who's driving the vehicle. And the police also told me that the next thing that'll happen for these folks who are professionals at this, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning when it crossed over this intersection, they got a picture of it. The next thing they will do is they'll pull into an apartment parking lot, someplace where there's not a whole lot of surveillance. Like I said, Walmart's not a good choice because they got a camera on every light pole. But they'll drive into someplace where there's a lot of vehicles, not a lot of surveillance, and they will find a GMC pickup. Mine was blue. They preferably would find a blue one, and they'll take the plates off of that truck, switch plates, and put them on the stolen vehicle, and just keep going. So if anybody sees the blue 2021 GMC 4-door SLT pickup, GMC Sierra, and runs the plates, it's not stolen. I mean, they could be looking right at the stolen vehicle, run the plates, and it's not stolen. That gets them enough time to do whatever they're going to do, drive wherever they're going to drive. Because it's not till the next morning that the person who got the plates switched with in that parking lot has any idea that it even happened, and they might not even notice. So who knows how long it takes before that person notices, hey, these aren't my license plates, and then calls that into the police. So it was a very helpless, frustrating ordeal when you think that you have all this stuff that keeps your car safe, and when there's a real sophisticated crowd that is doing this for a living, it's just boom, and they're just gone. Gone in 60 seconds, like the movie. And I was picturing maybe it was Angelina Jolie and Nicolas Cage, but I doubt it. And off they went, and they're gone scot-free. I have been working with the insurance company, and they come back with a total loss claim, and they give you a price that they'll pay for the truck that was stolen. And of course, they always come in low, and so you've got to do some of your own research. I just want to tell you, if this ever happens to you, do follow up with your insurance company with some quotes of your own, because they did come in with a very low, not a very low, lowish bid, which I could do better. And they said, well, if you can do better, then you need to go search up used vehicles, same age, number of miles, whatever you can find on the internet at local, within 100-mile radius or something, at dealerships that have the same features and things. And I thought, well, how am I going to do that? Well, you can go onto some websites, and it does show you the list of everything that vehicle has on it. And I was able to do that, and then have a counter list or pile of comps that I turned in that were a little more what I thought was fair. And the insurance company did take that and increase the value of the pickup. So I was pleased with that. They gave me a fair deal. It's a 4-year-old pickup. I wasn't going to be able to buy a new truck and not have to pay anything, unfortunately. But it was a 4-year-old truck, and so it had depreciated. And you know how vehicles are, what a great investment vehicles are. They depreciate the minute you drive them off the lot. But did work with that. So if you're ever in this situation and you get a bid back, just do what they tell you, and go find some bids, because you're going to find some comparable vehicles that you can send back to them, I would guess. And if you can't, then they gave you a pretty fair deal. But in the end, that was after I did some of the work and turned in some higher priced vehicles that I thought, if I was really going to go buy a 2021 to replace exactly what it is I lost, then this would be really the price that I would have to pay. So I went and found those, and they were fair about it. The other thing I want to warn you about also is that the contents of your vehicle in most cases, and I thought the contents were part of my automobile insurance. Contents are actually, at least in my plan, and I would bet in a lot of others, are part of your homeowner's insurance. And homeowner's insurance has a very high deductible. Mine was $2,100. And so they would have to steal more than $2,100 worth of stuff out of my vehicle before I even get anything paid back. And it kind of sounded like, well, you know, what's the use? Well, I started adding it up. And you'd be surprised how fast, if you add things up. If you've got a box with tools, if you've got chains, tow ropes, anything that of value. I had, you know, leather gloves. I had my range bag. That one really added up. I had my good safety glasses. The range bag always stays in my truck. And so when you steal my truck, you're going to get my range bag more than likely on a rare circumstance that I brought into the garage or something, but it's just always there. And I would imagine for you folks, if you go to the range, it's in your vehicle as well. But I had 2 sets of molded earplugs, the good ones that you have done at the ear doctor, because I'm shooting a lot. I'm also coaching. I'm working with young people in shooting sports. I'm standing right behind them. I mean, there's tens of thousands of rounds going off near me throughout the year, and so I had really good earplugs. And I lost a pair, and then I got a new pair made, and then I found the pair I lost, of course. So I had 2 pair of good molded earplugs. Well, those are $250 a piece to have those done, and so there's $500 right there. Lots of good safety glasses, good impact resistant safety glasses. I can't think of all the other gunsmithing screwdriver set. I had a handgun in the vehicle. That makes me really sick that somebody's got a handgun of mine, and that was expensive. So I ended actually, when you added it all up, good sunglasses, because it's intense down here, and I'm starting to develop some eye issues, and I need to have a good pair of sunglasses, more than the $12 ones that you get at Walmart fishing counter, and add that as well. So I ended up with about $3,000 worth of stuff when I added up the tools and the firearm and the range bag and all that stuff, chair, things that you just when you're going back to the range quite a bit would have in your vehicle, and got paid back for just a fraction of that. I have since learned, and I asked my insurance folks about this as well for many, many years. I'm like, well, okay, I've got all these, I've got firearms, locked away in the house, and I've got, valuable stuff in my home. If the house burns down, if somebody robs my house, how do I get back the contents of the house? And I don't worry about it. You got a $2,000 deductible. You're going to pay that back. That in a house situation, that deductible is going to disappear in a hurry. You've got, I don't know, whatever it is, $40,000, $60,000 worth of contents. It's going to cover your contents. And I said, well, I got some stuff that it's going to be pretty hard to replace. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It's just part of your home. Well, I've since learned through this process, as I was complaining about losing $3,000 worth of stuff and getting under $1,000 back. Finally, the insurance gal on the phone said, well, you can get personal item insurance. And I thought, that's exactly what I would have been asking for like 40 years, and was just told as part of your home insurance. There is personal item insurance. It's almost like renter's insurance, sort of. You can put together a list of all your firearms. You can put together a list of anything else. Maybe you got some jewelry in the house. You got some pocket watches. You got, just whatever you've got as a collection of that's got some value. Put some value on that. Take that to your insurance person and get that personal items insurance. And so if there is something stolen out of your home, she even gave the example on the phone. She said, let's say you have a graduation party and a whole bunch of people in your house, and later on you realize that, hey, I've got something missing, and I think somebody stuck that in their pocket on the way out the door at a graduation party when we didn't know who all was coming in and out of our house. And so it'll cover that mysterious disappearance. Of course, it'll cover theft and fire and all that kind of stuff. But insure your personal items separately, because then when you lose them out of your vehicle, you have a very low deductible, if any deductible, and you get everything back. You don't have to lose $3,000 worth of stuff and get under $1,000 back. Something I've been asking about, really disappointed when you talk to an insurance professional and they don't give you that information when you've asked about firearms, you've asked about collectibles and things like that. And these folks are just, oh, it's just part of your house. Well, it turns out there is personal items, and I should have dug deeper. I have never lived in a place where I was afraid that my truck would get stolen. I've never lived in a place where I was afraid my house would be broken into. Obviously, I'm in the big city now. I'm not in Mayberry anymore. I am in Tucson, and Tucson is a whole different ball of wax, which would be the same as any other, urban area. And so it's a different story. And didn't have that feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all my stuff because somebody's going to break in. Now I've got to tell you, I'm just a little bit paranoid, and I'm looking into a lot more things insurance-wise and that sort of thing. But these are all things that I thought that you should know. One thing that I forgot to say about when the truck had disappeared and they disabled everything in my vehicle that would stop it from being stolen. Like simple. It seemed as if it was just a piece of cake to them. They just plug into my computer port, turn everything off, push the button, and off they go. They take off with the GMC Sierra, change plates, and they're scot-free, and the chance of seeing that vehicle again are slim to none. And then you've got that waiting period before the insurance company will help you out because they want to make sure the vehicle doesn't just show up again or get picked up. They give you that 7 to 10 day period before they'll act and start any kind of a bidding process. But one of the things the police did tell me is that, if you have some sort of a anti-theft device, mechanical one, it is one more thing that these guys have got to disable. And there's the steering wheel lock, so you can't turn the steering wheel, the bar sticks out and it hits the door or whatever. In that case, that's just one more thing they've got to disable. They've got to break it off of your steering wheel, break your steering wheel maybe. I don't know how they would take it off, but they probably could with enough force, but they'd break something doing it. It takes a little bit of time and it makes them nervous. Another one is I don't know what you would call this thing. It's basically a lock that goes underneath your pedal. And so there's 2 metal bars that slide on either side of your brake pedal. It's got a metal bar that pulls up and squeezes your brake pedal between the top bar and this one that you've pulled up. And when it squeezes that brake pedal in there, you can't hit the brakes, you can't move the brakes. The bottom of this piece of steel is on the floorboards of the truck. You slide it over your brake, you turn a little 90-degree metal thing, zip it up tight, and that one you can undo really quickly with your key. But again, they get into your vehicle and they look at that and they're like, how are we going to get this thing off the pedal while we're stealing a vehicle? And again, they may just go to the next vehicle and leave yours alone because you've given them one more thing they've got to break through, and they can't do it electronically, and they very likely prepared electronically. Maybe saw the truck, it was there a couple of days, maybe saw the truck, programmed whatever they needed to program to go into a 2021 GMC Sierra 4-door and just take care of it with their computer program. The other thing is, obviously you can't rely, and you're going to have to really decide if it's worth paying for your satellite system, emergency system in your vehicle or not. Personally, I don't think I'm going to pay anymore. Particularly when they just told me that, yeah, sorry, we're not getting a signal, so we're just quitting. And that was a day after the theft. But rather than trusting something again that can be electronically or physically, sometimes they'll just tear it out, or electronically disabled. There are so many little homing devices that are all over Amazon or any place you want to look at these sorts of things, and so you get a totally separate homing device that you can drop in the back of behind your seat in the seat pocket. You can put up underneath the seat by the jack. If it's in the back, you can put it wherever you want to put it, hide it in the vehicle glove box. I mean, you probably want to put it someplace not super obvious because they probably can scan for these, look for these, whatever. But put it somewhere where it's not going to be found really quickly, and then you can track the vehicle on your cell phone from a signal coming from that little homing device. And they make them really small too, so it's not like you got this hockey puck thing that you have a magnet or anything that goes up underneath the vehicle. Those would fall off eventually if you hit the right bump. But something that goes inside the vehicle and you can read on your cell phone where things went. The police said we like those things, but we hate the thought of somebody just going to get their vehicle, and so heaven's sakes, don't do that. If you find out that it's 3 miles away in some pole barn, that's the job for the police, and plus they had one of my pistols. So I'm not going to take them on. I told the police, I said, no, that's your job. I just wish I knew where the truck was. And they said, yeah, those things work as well. So some lessons learned that I thought might be valuable to you guys. I in the process of getting new pickup, so I'm going to be back in business here soon. I'll have a vehicle. I can do what I want to do, but we'll have payments as well. But we'll be doing some things differently with this pickup. One is I'm not going to park it overnight in a parking garage and go off with the work truck. But it can be stolen anywhere that people know that it's there. And if they can do it quiet enough, they can steal it right out of your driveway. So I actually got the thing that locks your brake from being able to press the brake to even be able to move the brake. So I've got that. Did pick up an aftermarket homing device. I've got that. I check it every once in a while just to see if it's working. If I'm at work and the thing is at home, and does it show me that it's at home? And it works. It really works. You've got a map on the phone app, and you can find it super easy. No login, all that kind of stuff. You just find that homing device, and it tells you right where your vehicle is if it's in your vehicle. So anyway, I want to share that with you folks. I will get to the range just as soon as I can. We have had a little bit of rain in the Tucson area, and I'm hoping that the firearm shooting ban has been lifted or will be lifted soon with the moisture that we got in the last just recently, and then again about 3 weeks ago as well. So we've had a couple of storm fronts come through and really soak us pretty good, which means I should be able to get back out to the range here soon. I will get out there with a new vehicle, and we'll be doing some things different, not to lose this one. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you. I know I've been rambling for a while. It's a long story, and you probably didn't need to know all of it. But I thought, if you can do anything different before this happens to you, all the better. So appreciate your time. We'll get out the range as soon as I can. And hey, you guys, just thanks for watching. I appreciate it.